For the latest action figure news, check out Toy News International and marvelousnews.com, link in the description below. Thank you for the continued support to our online shop and YouTube channel. We are giving away a Marvel Legends Wolverine action figure once we reach 700 subscribers. Once we reach 1000 subscribers, we will be giving away a Marvel Legends Apocalypse and a 70 USD worth of X-Men attack pack from Slideffects. At the moment, the Apocalypse action figure is due January 2023 in America, but our shop has already this one in stock, so I hope you take advantage of this early giveaway. To get collectibles here for an action figure review, today we are looking at the 2020 Mafex number 99 Cyclops. This figure has been out for over 2 years and finally I purchased one for myself. We have a lot to cover in this review. First, we will compare Mezco, Mafex, Hasbro, and Slideffects. Which Optic blast is more comic book accurate or appropriate for Cyclops? Number 2, I think it is safe to assume that this will be the base body for other future Cyclops from Mafex. So here is what you would expect for the upcoming X Factor Cyclops. Number 3, another concern of other 6-inch scale collectors is whether will this fit in with their Marvel Legends collection. Lastly, is the price worth it? So first, let's go with the price. When the Mafex Cyclops action figure went into pre-order, he was priced at around 90 USD. Probably due to bad action figure reviews, he eventually became a clearance item in Big Bad Toy Store, and he was one of those Black Friday deals at around 60 to 70 USD. Over time, the supply for this action figure slowly decreased, and this means that his price went up to 110 USD. And in the aftermarket, you would even see this figure priced more than that. The initial price offering of this figure was already a big issue because with that price, you can buy in 2020 4 6-inch scale Marvel Legends action figure. Now moving forward to 2022, you can buy 3 of this 60th anniversary special wave of Spider-Man, which retails for around 68 AUD. But in our shop, we are giving it at a lower price of 50 AUD. In the comments below, I'd like to hear, were you one of those people who did not purchase this Mafex action figure even if you wanted it at that time because of the price? I was one of them actually. I also question, why is Mafex this expensive? Now, based on my research, I found out that Mafex is just like executive replicas and loose collector, wherein they make a limited amount of these figures. It is not like Hasbro who mass produce a lot of their figures. On the other hand, Mafex puts up pre-orders, and based on those pre-orders, they will produce the figures according to the total and probably add a little more just in case somebody else wants to get one after the figures are made. Think of it as a silent Hasbro project wherein Mafex does not let us know how many figures they plan to create. Unlike the Hasbro projects, which has a definite target and you can see the counter increasing, or at the moment for Ghost Rider it was decreasing. Just like the Hasbro projects, this Mafex action figures price increased a lot because it now becomes rare and limited in terms of number. In the comments below, I would also like to know whether are you supporting the current Hasbro project, which is the Marvel Legends Engine of Vengeance Ghost Rider. Do you agree with my conclusion on how Mafex makes their figure, that it is similar to how Hasbro's are done? I would like to hear your comments below. Cyclops comes in the standard Mafex box wherein there's a window showing Cyclops and the accessories. On the upper left is an art of Cyclops saying it is 6" and number 99. Bottom, we have a product shot of Cyclops, and on the side, another product shot of Cyclops with the Optic blast and an art from X-Men number 1 by Jim Lee. On the top, we can see another art, comic book art, and the window. And on the side, an iconic pose product shot showing Cyclops firing up. And at the bottom, we can see some legalities and warnings and proof that this is a original licensed product. On the back is several product shots showing what you can do with this Cyclops action figure and its accessories. Here we have him up close. His head is accurate to the comic book art. It can swivel from left to right, but it is a little bit loose like other Mafex action figures. In terms of his neck, there is actually a swivel, it just doesn't want to follow at the moment. He has a great range of neck movement because of how his peg is designed and how his neck is designed. In terms of the biggest complaint with this action figure, it is actually the upper torso, because the upper torso is a bit wide or big. It feels that it is not proportional to his body. You can see his abs is a bit low, like there's only 2 abs, then it's already his belt. I feel that that is too low. He could have a lower torso. So in terms of how his arms are attached, it is different from left to right, wherein the left one is like your standard peg, so I mean standard arm. Unlike the right one, it's a bit bigger. I mean, like a part of his upper torso is in there as well. That's why when it's articulated, it looks a little bit different how it is. But you can do the basics, like he has a bicep swivel, he has double jointed pinless and seamless elbows, so he can touch his visor. He has a swivel on his wrist, it can swivel up and down. The straps are all sculpted. He can crunch as well, but his strap and belt follows as you move him along, because the belt is not attached to his yellow underwear. So everything is sculpted in terms of his costume design. But you can see there's a drop down here on the legs, so it does drop down for you so that you can articulate that way. He has double jointed pinless or seamless knees, and he has a swivel and a hinge on his foot, and he has a toe articulation as well right here. In terms of proportion, the Marvel Legends Cyclops is indeed better, but that figure was released in 2017, which was a few years ago. In late 2022, these are the prices of Cyclops Marvel Legends in the aftermarket via Amazon and eBay. Naturally, as one of the main X-Men characters and being a rare figure at this point, the price will indeed increase. That is what is expected for a collectible item. Since I'm not an in-box collector, I prefer to get more value for the amount that I am paying for. The Marvel Legends Cyclops only comes with a Build-A-Figure part and no other accessories. The Mafex Cyclops price is almost near the Marvel Legends one, but you can see here it has more accessories such as an alternate head, alternate hands, and power effect, showing Cyclops' mutant ability. It is strange that the Marvel Legends does not even try to show Cyclops' mutant power at all. Same is true for the 2018 Hasbro Marvel Legends Psylocke, which I do not have in my collection. Here are her aftermarket prices in Amazon and eBay, and she does not even come with any alternate hands or alternate head. But the Mafex action figure has a lot of alternate hands. she has 2 head sculpts and 3 pairs of psychic weapons. And in terms of her face sculpt, I feel that she doesn't even look like the Psylocke from the comic books. In my opinion, not one of the better female Hasbro Marvel Legends head. As I was about to finish this review, the Hasbro PulseCon for 2022 has just started, and the Marvel Legends team revealed a new VHS X-Men animated series Cyclops action figure. Apparently, in terms of the number of abs, it is correct. He does only show a 6-pack because his belt is too high, covering his other abs. Here is a side-by-side photo comparing the Hasbro Marvel Legends X-Men animated series Cyclops product shot versus the Mafex action figure. I'm not really a fan of the cell shading, so this is one of the reasons why I don't collect this particular X-Men animated series line. In the comments below, please let me know what do you think. Should I have just waited for this X-Men Marvel Legends and find a way to remove the cell shading rather than going for the Mafex Cyclops? Because Marvel Legends do the body proportion correctly. Cyclops' mutant power is to fire beams of devastating energy from his eyes. They are called Optic Blast, and they are so powerful that they can only be effectively harnessed by a special ruby quartz visor designed by Professor X. He first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 1, 1963. He is part of the original 5 X-Men. During the 90s, he led the X-Men Blue Strike Force team. Another fact is Cyclops recharges his Optic Blast by absorbing solar energy. This time I heated up the figure, placed him in a boiling water so that I can remove this particular piece of his visor, because you need to replace this visor with the open one so you can attach the Optic Blast. Here you can see there is the hole wherein you can plug in the end of the visor. I had a difficulty because, as you can see, since this has been in the box for over 2 years, it seems the paint has already hardened and it stuck, making this visor difficult to be removed. So now attaching the alternate visor with the hole, we can now plug in one of the Optic Blast. So here we have the large Optic Blast. I noticed as well that it is easier if you plug it in with the visor removed, because it is hard to align the end of the Optic Blast with the hole inside the head. So as you can see, it's not aligned properly, so you just need to put it centered so that it would plug into the hole of the head. It is light enough that the head is able to carry it, and it is no issue in terms of making the figure stand while he has this particular Optic Blast in place. Here we have the regular Optic Blast, which is similar to what you would normally see him firing in the comic books. It is a translucent whitish red, or maybe light red to dark red at the end of the Optic Blast. He comes with a visor, a removable visor, which rests over his shoulders. So this will be part of his unmasked look. So we have him here with a regular head and his ruby quartz visor. So as you can see here, it does take inspiration from X-Men number 1, wherein he is just wearing his ruby quartz glasses. In terms of these glasses, you cannot see the eyes underneath because of how it is designed. It is like closed in terms of there's no gap between his forehead and the eyeglasses, so you cannot see whether this figure has eyes underneath it. But it is a good looking ruby quartz glasses. It's really similar to what you see in the comic books. It's not really red, like loud red. It's just right. So here we have him with his like aftermath of firing an optic blast wherein it is burning or smoking. The smoke is translucent red plastic as well, but you need to be careful because how it is attached to the visor, it is very thin, and I've heard people telling me that it snapped out, so it got removed. So I was really careful when it comes to handling this. I have to warm it up in boiling water just to make sure that I can easily remove the visor. And as you notice here again, there is some paint left on it, meaning the paint hardened, making it difficult for me to remove it without without putting it under boiling water. It is the same as the visor that I showed you a while ago, wherein the paint has already hardened and it is stuck to the visor. He comes with a pair of closed fist hands. In terms of these hands, you can see it is seamless in terms of the straps or the straps on his wrist. You cannot use Marvel Legends hands for this, or vice versa. You cannot use his alternate hands for Marvel Legends because of how it is designed. The hole is on the hand, while the thing that you plug in is on the arm. Here you have him with his visor button pressing hands. So you have two of them, so you can use his left hand or his right hand as he press on the visor to fire his optic blast. It seems in comic book art he usually uses his left hand. Here we have some open palm or gripping hands. The hands do look a little bit big for some reason. Here we have the Hasbro Cyclops, the Mafex Cyclops, and two Marvel Legends Cyclops. And here we have the Age of Apocalypse Cyclops, which always annoys me because he doesn't come with any accessories at all, and he's priced in the regular Marvel Legends price. So first up, let's look at the heads. We have several heads here for Mafex and Mesco. We have unmasked head for the Cyclops in the bomber jacket. In terms of the aftermath of firing his optic blast, we have for Mafex and Mesco, but we don't have that for the Marvel Legends one. So changing it and putting on the smoking visor, you can see here that the Mafex is more of the anime-like in terms of design, and it's like the Capcom versus Marvel look of Cyclops. Unlike the Mesco, which they have a different take in terms of how they present their figures, but it is more lifelike. So here we have the smoking effect, and it is on different, it comes out from different sides. For Mesco, it is on the left side, and for Mafex, it is on the right side. For Marvel Legends, we don't have any representation of this smoking visor at all. Using a Slideffect optic blast effect here, it's not actually the smoking one, but it's like he's about to fire his optic blast. So here he is beside the other figures. Mesco and Mafex doesn't have that. Here we have another version of him almost firing his optic blast. Just be careful with this particular effect piece because the edge is a little bit thin and it can break. See how this slide effect just plugs in easily with these particular Cyclops. Comparing the Mesco and Mafex Cyclops, you can see that the Mesco has a bigger hole in terms of the optic blast. When you plug it in, it's really wider. I mean, not bigger, actually it's wider compared to the Mafex one, which is not that wide. So in terms of how easy it is to plug in the optic blast, for Mesco it is very easy. You just simply position it and plug it in. This particular optic blast for Mesco is a bit short comparing it to the one for the Mafex one. As you can see here, it is also designed differently, wherein Mesco is a little bit more simpler compared to Mafex. The comparable one is with the House of X Cyclops, wherein he has an optic blast included with him. So here we have him. I'm not sure whether I like how the optic blast is designed for this one. I still think the Mafex one is better in terms of comic book accuracy of how he fires this particular optic blast. For the Jim Lee Cyclops for Marvel Legends, he doesn't come with any optic blast, but we have a compatible optic blast made by Slideffects. It looks really good because it's thick and light reflects on it, and it just fits perfectly in terms of his visor. You just plug it in there. It does seem that at first it's a bit hard, but it does sit well once you got it on the right angle and right position. Comparing it to this Marvel Legends one, you can see how this Slideffects looks better. I mean, the one from House of X is just looks plain. It can really battle it out with the Mafex optic blast. So here is it, comparing it side by side. Though it comes in one color like solid red, it does reflects. In terms of light, it does reflect and makes it look different. It makes it feel like the optic blast is really moving compared to this particular Mesco one. It feels a little bit static because when light hits it, it feels like it's moving. It is comparable as well to the larger optic blast of Mafex. So here we have from the top the different optic blast. You can see how the light reflects on the slide effect. It feels like it's moving compared to the Marvel Legends wherein it's just dull. Here we have for Mafex. It does look great with Mafex as well. And for Mesco, as you can see, this one really stands out. I mean, the Slideffects optic blast stands out. And I've shown this in my stop motion, wherein you can see here, it's like it actually is firing. So comparing it to the larger optic blast for Mafex, here we have the one from Mesco, which is a little bit heavier and bigger and bulkier. It's like a comet or a flamethrower type of blast. So it's like an insane blast from Cyclops. Somewhat like similar to what Pyro would fire away. It does look different. It might have shown in the comic books, but it's just too big. I mean, comparing it to the other optic blast here, you can see how thick it is and how huge it is. For Slideffects, we have two kinds of optic blast. I think this longer one is supposed to be the massive optic blast one. Just plug it in. It's a little bit, since it's a little bit longer, it's harder for it to balance and peg in. It it can peg in, but it will eventually fall. So it's a bit, I can't say it's heavy because it's really light. It's more of like it's really hard to balance it because it's longer compared to the other ones. You can see here how long it is. It's really longer than this Mafex one. I guess that's one reason why it's a little bit harder to balance. Well, it is designed that so that the end of the optic glass can rest onto something. As you can see, it's tapered or just like curved to rest on something. As expected, it's a bit harder to balance, but you can see here that I managed to make it a little bit stable. So here he is besides the large Mesco optic glass, and here he is beside, here are the three side by side, and you can compare which one is really the better one. Since the Marvel Legends does not come with an optic glass, it is a good idea to get this one from Slideffects, which is 24 USD, includes shipping. So here we have the House of X Cyclops, just to show whether the Mafex optic glass can fit in. It won't. It's just the hole is just too wide, so you cannot use any of the Mafex effects. Same is true for the Mesco. You cannot use the Mesco blast effect for this Cyclops. In terms of the other alternate head of the House of X, you can use the Slideffects optic blast. It can plug in. Just try your best to plug it in because it is not designed for this Cyclops. It is designed for the Jim Lee one. So here we have him with this particular optic glass. It looks better than the one that he came with in the package. In terms of the larger optic glass, again, it's a hard balancing act. And since this optic glass is not made for this mold, this head in particular, the mold of this head, it cannot plug in at all. So you would need an assist for this one. And it needs to rest, the heavy end needs to rest to somewhere, or you can use a blue tack and you can just Photoshop it out, just edit it out, but it's really impossible for him to hold this longer optic glass. In the comments below, I would like to hear which one do you think is the better optic glass. Is it the one from Slideffects or the one from Mafex and Mesco and of course Marvel Legends? Here we have the unmasked head. In terms of the ruby quartz glasses, you can see that it is different in terms of color between the Mafex and the Mesco. For the Mesco, you can remove the glasses because the gimmick is you can see the lighted eyes. And for the Marvel Legends, you can see that his glasses are very bright red. This is the modern one. You can see that the Mafex one is more appropriate because it's the ruby quartz color. Here you can see again the alternate head for Marvel Legends is just too red. It's a very red eyeglasses. The Mafex action figure stands 15.8 centimeters or 6.22 inch tall. I did research whether this translates to the 1/12 scale of 6 feet 3 inches, and it does. Actually, it is accurate to it. So in a way, I think the Marvel Legends ones are a little bit taller. So here are the Marvel Legends size comparisons, beginning with Wolverine and Spider-Man from Renew Your Vows 2-pack. Here we have Jubilee and Jean Grey. Here we have him besides Omega Red and Beast, still Marvel Legends. Here we have him with larger figures, Mr. Sinister and the Deluxe Apocalypse. Here we have him besides Mafex 6-inch scale action figures, Wolverine in brown costume and Gambit. Here we have him besides 6-inch scale Mafex, Psylocke, and the Halimo sculptures Darna. Here we have him besides 7-inch scale action figures, Marvel Select Colossus and Juggernaut. The good thing about this action figure is the costume is accurate in terms of the Jim Lee comic book art. Unlike the Marvel Legends wherein they use blue plastic which is flat in terms of color, Mafex painted the body, so you can see how it's like a metallic blue. It does stand out in a shelf, unlike the Marvel Legends one. The problem with the body proportion of the Cyclops is like the upper torso is indeed wide and bigger. The lower torso is short, that the belt is almost near the chest. In terms of accessories, Mafex provides a complete set of accessories. Like the upcoming Jean Grey, which I am looking forward to, this Cyclops has several alternate heads. He has an angry head when he fires his optic blast, he has a relaxed head, and he has an unmasked head. And he has several alternate hands as well. It is somewhat consistent in terms of the other Mafex action figures, except for Gambit and Psylocke, they have more alternate hands. So with all of my Mafex action figures, you could say that it almost equates to the amount of the current HasLab Engine of Vengeance Ghost Rider. So do you think in the comments below that this set of Mafex action figures I have is even better than what the HasLab is offering? Or do you think the HasLab is still better in terms of value compared to these 4 action figures? Thank you for watching this very long action figure review video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and ring the notification bell.